What should you expect in the first couple of months after you file a lawsuit? The short answer is not a lot. And the reason for that is because once you file a lawsuit, most of what happens beyond that happens behind the scenes. So you've been meeting with an attorney, you've been preparing to file a legal claim for months. You've been hurt in an accident and you're recovering, you've decided to take action, you've hired an attorney, you've decided that you're going to move forward with a lawsuit. The lawsuit gets prepared, you review it, it is signed by the attorney, and it is filed, and then nothing. And you wonder what's going on. And the answer is, there is a multiple step process that happens after a lawsuit is filed, and it all happens basically behind the scenes. The attorney takes the complaint, that's the document that starts the lawsuit, and they file it. Nowadays, it's always filed electronically. The complaint then has to be served upon the other side. So the party that you're alleging caused your injury or caused your accident, or the wrongdoer, they have to be served with the legal claim, with the lawsuit. And that service typically means they are personally served. If it's a company, they can be served through the New York State Department of State or some other state entity, but for the most part, you want personal service against the wrongdoer. That means a process server has to physically take the paper document and hand it to the person who is being accused as the wrongdoer. That takes time. Now, under the rules, you typically have a few months, up to 4 months, to serve the lawsuit. When we file lawsuits, we try to have them served basically right away, so that if there's any problems with service, we can remedy them later. But that can take a couple of weeks, it can take sometimes a month, in order to find the person, track them down, and get them served. Once they are served, the clock starts running on the time for them to submit their response or their answer. Ordinarily, that is between 20 and 30 days. Sometimes, once they get a lawyer, an extension is granted. So sometimes that responsive document might not come in for 1, 2, or a little bit more, 1 or 2 months or a little bit more. So that process can take some time. Once that happens, we then enter into the discovery phase, where paper is exchanged between the parties to the lawsuit, asking questions. Either side is entitled to discover what the other side knows. All of this is happening behind the scenes while you may be wondering what is going on. This is the reason why it's really important that when you hire a lawyer for an accident or an injury case, you trust that they are going to communicate with you at every step along the way, and you understand what the process looks like. The last thing we want is for someone to get involved in a lawsuit and not understand what it is that they're doing. We try to explain this as much as possible, but if you have questions, feel free to reach out.